Welcome back to the Let's Talk Business podcast. I'm your host, James Price, and this is episode 31. And today I'm with a proud Wiradjuri man from Wellington in New South Wales originally. He's had what can only be described as a very successful career in the NRL, over 10 years, and he's just announced his retirement. And he's also in business, and he's developing his own business. Tyrone Peachey, it's great to have you on board the Let's Talk Business podcast.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for having me, and I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure, and I don't know where to start. I mean, you dropped the news last week of retirement. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm content now. It was a long year, I suppose, and then coming up with the decision to retire. I kind of knew it was the right time, and
yeah,
I could definitely play on if I had to. But I've started a transport company that we've just got at the airport. We have 8 buses running, and it's kept me really busy. And
yeah, right.
I'm excited for post football.
So I mean, that's hard, right? Like I imagine a professional footy career, you've got to be very focused,
mm-hmm.
And in business, you got to be very focused, right? So, for the last little bit, I guess you had a number of competing things that you've been focusing on.
Yeah. So I think that the thing I was nervous about post football is like what was next, because I've pursued my whole life to be a professional football player, and there's not much out there with going to ask for jobs with a 10-year football career. Like I don't have any other qualifications in anything else, and so I did carpentry before I made in footy.
Did you, man?
Made it to the 3rd year, and then got an NRL contract, and absolutely hated working, so I took the contract and then never pursued carpentry after that.
Yeah.
So one thing I did learn, I didn't want to be on a work site after I finished. I didn't know how long football was going to last as well, so I put everything into it. Now it's 11, 12 years on. I've got to worry about something next, like what's next after footy. And pursued the transport business, and then, it's going pretty well and kept me busy. And
that's great.
Helped me with the decision to retire.
Yeah. Like you debuted, I think, back in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
You've been with four clubs.
Yep.
Sharkies, I think, originally, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then what? Penrith.
So Sharks so my whole juniors was Sharks, and debuted there. I did 20s there, SG Ball.
Yeah.
Played 2 years and played 7 games at the Sharks, and then got a 2-year deal at Penrith. Then got another 3-year deal after that. So I was there for 5 years. Went to Gold Coast for 3 years. Tigers 1 year, and then Penrith 2.
And, a grand final there at Penrith in 2023.
Yep.
Well, the Indigenous All-Stars, the Prime Minister's 13, State of Origin, I think 3
games. Yep.
3 games for the Blues.
Yep.
Yeah. Big career, bro.
Yeah. Looking back, it's pretty surreal. I only ever wanted to play one game in the NRL, and I think I got 210. I can't believe it still that I've kind of bluffed my way through, and I never really had a position as well. So
is that how you feel about it?
Yeah.
You went from one game to the next, and
not really knowing where I was going to be, and
really?
There was a certain point where I was playing centre for a bit, but before that I was just kind of a fill-in man, and to get 210 games, it's pretty surreal, and
it's amazing. It's just like it's a awesome achievement. I mean, if you were to analyse yourself now, looking back, what are the 3 words that describe the value you bring to your teammates on the field? Do you think, having looked back on those 210 games?
I took pride in always being able to do whatever the coach or teammates needed me to do. So I'm adaptable, resilient, and competitive little prick. Like I was stubborn in a way that if someone told me I couldn't do it, I would.
You would do it?
Go and do it just to prove them wrong, and Yeah, that's something that helped me get so far in what I did, being stubborn and competitive.
Yeah. So adaptable, resilient, stubborn, competitive little prick.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you get those? Where did those traits come from?
So my uncle was a Sharks legend, David Peachey.
Yes.
He's in the team of the century there, one of the best fullbacks to ever play for the club. And playing at Cronulla, being a junior, was like pretty difficult because everyone had expectation on me to kind of
emulate his
I had to be
skills.
like him and I had to play like him, but we're totally different. Like he's 6'4", I'm 6 foot. He's skinny, like long, really fast, and then I was kind of explosive, short, a little powerful thing.
Yeah.
I had footy smarts, which was kind of something that helped me get through, and I just loved the game. So it was difficult at the start, but once I kind of got that monkey off the back that I wasn't David Peachey, I was Tyrone Peachey, and helped make a name for myself, it got a lot easier.
And how did that happen? Like, what do you recall the turning point where?
Probably leaving Sharks.
Beg your pardon?
Leaving the Sharks and coming
Really?
to Penrith.
Yeah,
definitely.
Because it was like the expectation was so great at the Sharkies because of the history there, and you came to Penrith. Was it because you didn't have that expectation, but you still delivered?
So I was playing lock at the time, and Paul Gallen, Jeremy Smith, Wade Graham, Anthony Tupu, Luke Lewis were all in those positions.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really fit in there. And Penrith was struggling at the time, and went to Chinese with Gus Gould, and everyone knows once you go to dinner with Gus, the
Yes,
deal's
that's
done.
right.
End up offering me money that it was like 120 grand a year.
Yeah.
That was like $1 million for me. Like
At the time, yeah.
my parents struggled my whole life. My family all struggled financially, and to see that money come in, it was life-changing.
It was a big step. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. Did it put a lot of pressure on your shoulders? Right.
Not really, because I got to play football for a living and didn't have to work. So
Yeah.
it was, got to live the dream.
So it's your passion, right? Or it's been your passion? Yeah.
Is the
It is your passion.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did you know that you were really good?
Probably, I don't know. Probably when cause I still didn't believe I was good in like 20. So got picked for Sharks, SG Ball. You kind of still don't know. And then I played 20s.
Yeah.
And there was, you still don't know. You still question because you're not full time. And then I made 20s team of the year. And then
Yes.
that's like pretty prestigious for a
It is.
20s player. Like
Yeah.
our team was pretty stacked. We had like Kyle Felt, Conrad Harrell, James Roberts, Jack DeBellin,
Wow.
Tomalolo, Tyson Frizzell,
Wow.
like all players that are still playing like right now.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
a lock.
Yeah.
So Tomalolo, he was lock at the time, but they put him front row.
Right.
And Jack DeBellin got lock of the year, player of the year in 20s, and they put him front row.
Yes.
But I got lock.
Yeah. Right.
So I kind of thought, I could do this here. Like,
Yeah.
this is pretty cool. And then played NRL, and then I was like, far out, I could actually do this. And then, when I went to dinner and Simon Gus, he promised me at the time that I'll probably play at Penrith and I'll probably play Origin, but I didn't believe it. I was like, he goes, you're an Origin player. And then I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
and then, everything he said kind of panned out.
It panned out. Everything he said panned out. But I mean, nothing against Gus, but you did it, man, didn't you?
Yeah.
So when did that confidence thing? It sounds like there was a development. It's just the way I'm taking it, right? It sounds like there's a development of confidence over a period in yourself. Like, because you said, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. But you did it, didn't you?
Yeah. But that's, I suppose, anything. Like, I was on a pursuit to be an NRL player, a consistent NRL player, but I never ever knew that I was going to be there. And I just always thought I was one game away from never playing again. And probably 2017 was probably the year that I fully committed to everything and tried to have a crack. That off-season, trained like the house down.
Yes.
Come into 2018, and then, everything just panned out exactly the way I seen it. Like, I was starting centre, played Origin 3 games that year.
Yeah.
We played finals, and I was off contract that year, and then signed 3 years at the Goldie on
It's
money
amazing.
changed my life.
Yeah. But, you know, you said you were one game away each time from not perhaps playing again. But it's almost developing, I mean, again, it's me, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the way I hear it, you're adding a degree of pressure or fear into, well, I got to deliver here because I mightn't have another game. Yeah?
Yeah, because I understood that there was always young people coming through trying to steal your position. Like, that was me from the start. So you're under constant pressure, and you have one game, the coach sprays you and hates you. He won't play you again for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen over like NRL. Like, I've been involved in it, and it happens a lot more often than you think. Like, coaches have a certain way that they want people to play footy, and there are people out there that doing it the other way. They're not going to get picked.
So you can't be complacent, right?
Not at all, and you got to be adaptable.
Yeah. I like what you've told us there, you know, because it explains you as a footy player and a professional footy player, but also in business, from my experience. The best business owners are the ones that figure out what they're good at early on, and they develop. It's almost like a Jekyll and Hyde personality, in the sense that they are supremely confident, but they are extremely humble, and they know that, and they don't take things for granted, because they know that, you know, they're nurturing a fragile thing that they're building, and so, you know, they've got to take care of their customers. They've got to think about the competitive environment. They've got to think about their people. And so, you know, I sense that, you know, there's some parallels there if I reflect on what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you reckon, you know, reflecting on, you know, you're into your business career, whether you like it or not, and it's exciting. And I'd like to talk more about that. But what do you reckon you most got out of NRL that will help you in business, do you think?
It's massive. Like, my whole business structure is directed around the Penrith culture and everything I've learned here. Like, I spoke to you previously before this, and I didn't set my goals high enough in football, like, for myself. So, for example, like, I wish I would have come into being an NRL player saying that I want to be like the most capped Origin player, or I want to win the most comps, or I want to be the best player ever. Like, I never had aspirations to do that. My whole thing was to play one game. And then once I got one game, I want to play 10 games. Once I got to 10, I was like 50. And then I got up to 200. Yeah. And then, so moving into business is that we want to be the number one Australian transport in Australia, Aboriginal transport in Australia. And we're slowly getting there. We started off with 2 buses and got 8 buses now. So we're connecting with people. And the thing I've learned from football is don't ever set your bar too low, because once you reach that, you just got to keep going. So if we set our bars really high and land around there, we should be pretty successful.
Well, and I guess setting your bar high, but then being adaptable, being resilient, being a competitive little prick are the components of actually trying to achieve where that bar is, right?
Definitely, yeah.
You mentioned about the culture at Penrith. How would you describe it in 3 or 4 words?
Well, you can't really explain it. Like, the leaders are like literally the hardest trainers. The best players at that club are the hardest trainers. So the expectation is right there. So if you're a new bloke coming in and you don't train to their level of expectation, you're going to get flicked. Yeah. And that's the crazy thing that's driving that club is, Nave Cleary, Isaiah, Fisher Harris, they're all the hardest workers. And Dill Edwards, and that's it. Like, if you're not training like that.
If you're not to that level, then you have to take a good look at yourself, because you need to be to that level.
Yeah, they don't need you. Like, they don't.
Yeah.
And I've been at clubs where I've got wooden spoons, and I've won the comp last year. So I've seen both spectrums and how different clubs are, and it's crazy that there are NRL clubs out there that are on the same cap as Penrith. Like, I don't know how the difference is so big.
Yeah, it's amazing,
And
isn't it?
yeah, like there's all NRL coaches out there, but I don't know how they're so far off and
But what's the
instructions, systems.
specialness? Like, what are the special spices that are there and not elsewhere? What
I think Penrith do everything like to the best of their ability. Where sometimes teams rock up Monday and they might have had a beer on the weekend and come back Monday and we'll just ease in the Monday.
Yeah.
We'll warm up for Tuesday, be really good Tuesday, and then when we get to Friday, we're flying.
Yeah.
Where Penrith's Monday is like you got to be on the ball or you're going to get in trouble. Like the coach will be off you, all the players will be off you, and there's just a certain level of expectation.
So is there I talk about it a bit with business teams, right? And I was only talking in a potty the other day about it. And we were talking about how to build culture in a team. And it was almost like the individual has to be satisfied with their own performance, but then the team has to be satisfied with its performance as well. And unless you've got those things working together, you're not building a high-performance team. You could have a bunch of individuals that are satisfied, but it's almost like they take on a different persona as they're almost custodians for the team, right? Is that how it works, or?
I think Ivan always says, "Worry about the process, not the outcome," and like that, I didn't know what that meant until I really looked into it. And then it's worrying about like your next job. Say if I've got to defend, I've got to do the best job I possibly can.
Yeah.
They're not worrying about we need to get the win.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
need to do whatever we need to do to get the win. They worry about the next job and
yeah.
worry about the process, not the outcome. That's
Yeah.
what he always reiterates.
And do you think that in business that
Definitely, yeah.
that concept's important?
That's, yeah, that's something that's probably the reason I retired. Nave Cleary always says, be present, and I didn't really know what that meant either. And
Yeah.
when he talked about it, it's say if you're in a meeting, like we got video for an hour, be present in every video, like make sure you're watching everything. Or we're doing a defensive drill, like do that rep, or we're doing weights. If it says 8 reps, do 8 reps to the best of your ability. And for business, I think it's being at every meeting you possibly can, or
Yes.
being involved in everything that you're doing. And that's the thing that I've tried to take into Nanama Care, my business. And it's helped so far. I've been in a lot of meetings. Some I don't know what I'm doing in there. I don't know what I'm talking about, but at least I'm there and I know, and they're seeing me ask questions if I don't know. And that's probably another thing. Like I'm not the smartest person in the world,
Yes.
but I will ask stupid questions if I don't know. Like that's something I've got from football. So
How did you get that from football? That's what I'm interested to know.
because if you don't know, you're not going to get picked. And I learnt that sometimes they want you to defend a certain way or attack in a certain way. And if you do it the wrong way the first time, they're going to piss you off straight away. So asking stupid questions is something I'm really good at because I'm not the smartest bloke in the world.
Yeah.
If I don't know, I will ask, and I'm not embarrassed to do that.
Yeah. I think that's a really important ingredient, right, to success in life, but also in business. Assumptions are a real bad thing in business. You know, you can assume a lot of stuff, and invariably, from my experience, you'll be wrong, even if you're a smart cookie.
Yeah.
You know, and I think good business owners, just like good sportsmen, I think they know what they're really good at, but they also know what they're not good at.
Yeah.
And if you can have the presence of being humble and thinking that the people around you are your best supporters with the things you're not good at, then you'll unlock, you know, some special performance that would otherwise not be there.
Yeah.
But it's having the presence of mind and the guts to ask that question, isn't it? And not be, I don't know, embarrassed about it, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's massive in footy as well. Like a lot of people come from Pacific Islands or Samoa and Tonga or Aboriginal, anything, and we're pretty shy people at nature. And getting in a room in front of 30 or 40 people, if they don't know, they're embarrassed to put their hand up and say, "Oh, I don't know this."
Yeah.
So they kind of just don't say anything. And like even like in the biz, like I'm older and my whole career I've unintentionally networked, like talk shit with the sponsors and people that want to help out the club, and it's just worked out in like pure luck. Like I've been able to talk shit to sponsors that come to events and everything, and now that I'm at the back end of my career, the bloke from Hertz, Craig,
yes,
he's the one that helped us start our company.
Is that right?
And I went to lunch with him and I said, "Oh, can we buy a couple buses off you?
Yeah.
Like we don't have much money, but we want to do it." And then he goes, "How many do you need?" And we're like, "Oh, 2." And he goes, "All right, I'll give you 2." And has given us 2 buses
How good
for
is that?
nothing for 12 months to get the company started.
Really?
And
Yeah.
then like it's networking and being able to ask questions. And
But what makes you want to network with people, do you think?
I know that it's going to benefit the business. And like starting off with the stuff that we've done, we've only been going for a year, and if we can solve a problem for you and you get something out of it as well,
Yeah.
like that's good business. And
That is good
they're
business.
gonna, that's how it all works. Like it's something that I'm unfamiliar with, but like I'm real passionate about it, and I love like seeing other NRL players succeed. Like there should be, I was saying this to you, there should be more millionaire NRL players than there are. Like I only know a handful of them, which is McDougall, who sold Manshake for
Yes.
600
mil,
million,
yeah.
and there's no other ones. Like there's
There's not enough when you think of the terrific capabilities that a professional sporting career provides a person that should be transferable into business, I would have thought.
And these sponsors that come in, they're millionaires, and that all they want to do is help the NRL player in whatever aspect they want to get helped in.
Yeah.
And if that's starting a business or whatever, they're happy to do that. And
Yeah.
sometimes just the players are too shy to ask the questions or to ask for help, really. Like that's the main thing. So I'm hoping, like, from what I do on my Peach podcast and what we're doing here is helping guide young NRL players into business and being successful, and we can all network together and make millions together.
Yeah, look, I think that's important. And I think if I think about networking, like as a young guy, I used to think, I'm not going to talk to that person unless there's something in it for me, right?
Yeah.
And I can remember, being a bit nervous, or, do I really want to put myself out there, and how will that person ever help me? But what I've learned over the years, and you've hit on it, you never know.
Mm-hmm.
You never know when someone might be able to be in your corner. And sometimes I think with networking, you've got to give at the outset before you get. Because, striking up a conversation with someone, it might not be time and place that is ready to do a deal and get some value either way, but things will come round. And I think it's such an important ingredient in business today. And I think in a perverse sort of a way, social media is sort of dampening the need to network a little bit.
Yeah.
Or some people feel it is, right? They feel if you're on social media, you're networking. Well, it's networking. Social media is good for networking, but it's also stopping people having a personable conversation, right? Sometimes, and I don't know. Maybe that's a bit old hat,
No,
right?
I'm with you. That's exactly right. Like I've been on social media since Gold Coast, probably. Like and like some of the shit that I've seen NRL players say if they have a bad game, some people get to come on. Go on Instagram and go, "Oh, you're fat. You're a fat idiot. Like you're the worst player in the world." Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And then they get that message. They already feel shit as a player.
Yeah.
Seeing all this hate come on, it's like it's crazy. Like I don't know why people are even on social media, like for that. Like they want the good things. They just want the likes, but they don't want the bad stuff.
No, it's sort of not balanced.
Yeah, it's not balanced at all. And then in that aspect, like when I started this podcast, the Peach podcast, I hit Bomber up, Bomber Sneakers, and I said, "Do you want to start a podcast?" And he was like, "Yeah, sweet." I knew no one from media or that could help me out, and then he knew J-Mac, our cameraman, one of the best
So
editors.
is
in
that
Penrith.
that guy that
Yeah,
Jamal?
right.
That guy there, is it?
And he's done all our videos, and like I wouldn't have known how to contact someone to do this. Like, and then he's helped us start this whole thing, and that's how we got off the ground running. Like,
Oh, that's cool.
it's asking the question and networking. Like Bomber, I wouldn't have been able to start this thing if I didn't have Bomber or JMax.
So there you go. And his Peach podcast, is it part of your networking?
Yeah.
What are you trying to achieve, man?
So through the Peach podcast is I want to, I don't know, like I just want to be able to tell old war stories from football and meet new people and show a jovial side of football, I suppose. It's so serious now with NRL 360 and everyone's...
Yeah.
There's so many NRL podcasts out there, but I feel ours has a point of difference because we're I don't know, I'm a different character. Like I can talk shit like to anyone. Bomber's a bit more serious with the way it's all structured and everything, and I'm just like, as long as we're doing them and we're having fun, that's all that matters. Like the money will come, hopefully.
Yeah, I love that.
We're still looking for sponsors, like throughout for the year, but I feel like it's been like a good journey so far. I've had a couple good videos and it's been good. So we're hoping to keep this thing flowing, and it brings in the income, and we can all bloody flourish, really.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it, and it's allowing you to get out in amongst the community, and
I think also keeps me involved in football. That's what I'm a bit scared of when I retire. I don't want to ever leave the game. Because that helped me get everything that I've got. Yeah. So I want to be involved in football, in the game, at some aspect, and that's something, why I started it.
Yeah, I love it. And, I can see how it's adding to your journey. I'd call you quietly confident. But is that a fair characterisation? Have you always been quietly confident?
Yeah, in a way. Like I could, before I made footy, I couldn't put a sentence together like in front of you guys. Like I was real shy.
Really? How did that happen?
I don't know. I wasn't really educated. I didn't do well at school at all. Like I just struggled through school. Was pretty good at football. My principal loved me for being a football player, and that's what helped me get my Year 12 certificate. My parents, I'm the first person in my family to get a Year 12 certificate.
Is that right?
So, and then that made my brother do it. So me and him, and then all our little cousins and stuff started doing it because it was a normal. So coming from a culture and a background of where I came from, like you'd understand if you've seen it like firsthand. It's cool. And then football's just given me the confidence to be able to talk and get to where I'm at the moment, because playing for so long and talking in front of cameras and stuff. NRL career just gradually got better and better.
And that was a gradual process, yeah?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Yep. So school was Wellington, was it?
So I started at Wellington and then went to Cronulla High.
And you went to Cronulla High, okay. Yeah. Did you enjoy school or only the footy?
Enjoyed like recess lunch and football.
Recess lunch and football, love it.
But other than that,
I'd hate to see what you're doing at recess and lunch. What were you up to?
Just footy and talking shit, doing anything other than schoolwork.
Yeah. Did you have a maths brain or?
Nah, not at all.
No.
Couldn't read. Like I could read, but I just got rattled when I had to say if I had to do a speech in front of everyone. I couldn't do it. Couldn't put a sentence together. I would read like the first page, skip to the right to the end, and then read the last page. Yeah. And they'll be like, "What are you doing? You missed all of it." And I was like, "I just can't do it." I'd walk off embarrassed. Maths I was awful at because I just had no time for it. I just didn't want to do it. I just thought my only way out was to play footy. So
could you spell?
I could spell. I could do everything. I could read. I could spell, but I just hated it.
Yeah, you hated it. Yeah.
Only way out was football, so I just put everything into that.
Yeah. But you identified that, right? Or did someone help you identify it?
No, I just made that on my own. Had to make it somehow, and that was it.
Yeah, I love it. You were from a big family, right?
Yeah, my dad's 11 brothers and sisters, and my mum's 7.
Really?
So I got a million cousins.
Yeah. Are they all back in the bush mostly?
No, me and my brother up here. We've got few cousins up here, but yeah, we're scattered everywhere.
Yeah.
Gold Coast.
Yeah, and I understand you're a bit of a favourite of your grandma. Is that right?
Yeah, I was. So I don't know. We had a million cousins, and when my little nan was the reason we started Nanima Care.
Was it?
Yeah. So she had cancer back at Wellington, and there was no transport or to get her to appointments, or no, if we didn't have a car back there, like she couldn't get groceries or nothing. And we looked into it, there was nothing there, and she passed away, unfortunately. And like she would call me the favourite in front of everyone. Like she would make 2 jam tarts for the whole family, and then so there'd be one for the family, and then there'd be one whole one for me.
For Peach, just a jam tart for you.
She'd tell like all of them, don't touch it. That's my favourites. Like, and there's hundreds of them. Like, oh, not hundreds. There's like 20, 30 cousins.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't let them touch it. So we ended up looking into it, and then went and seen Craig, got the 2 buses, and tried to do a bit of community work around Penrith. And
yes.
Unfortunately, didn't find too much work. Like get 1 or 2 jobs here every week, and then met up with this legend at Park Life Metro, Jack Fletcher.
Yeah.
And he's the Indigenous procurement, and had coffee with him, and he goes, mate, can you do transport? And we said, yeah. How many buses do you have? And we're like, oh, we only got 2. And he said, all right, well, you need 8. I was like,
yeah, right.
what? Like, what do you mean? Like 8 buses, and then we've got 8 buses on the site, and we probably
That's
need more
amazing.
by the end of the year. And yeah, we've hit the jackpot really, so it's good.
Yeah, but you put yourself in that position, right?
Yeah.
Was that the networking?
Yeah, networking, and I try and put myself in uncomfortable situations because who knows what could happen. And ever since that meeting with Jack, like I'd never try and turn down a meeting, like whatever, someone wants to have a coffee or anything, because I don't know what's going to come from there.
So is there a little thing inside you that says, no, jump off the cliff, make yourself vulnerable, put yourself out there? How does that, that uncomfortable situations thing work for you?
Yeah, well, just meeting new people for me was uncomfortable. So that's what I mean by that aspect. Or go on to meetings and say if I've got no idea what's happening in there, like that's uncomfortable. Like just put myself in positions where, I don't know, so anything could happen.
I think that's really important for a business owner, right? And being in business, because, we all live in our own circles, and there's a tendency, it's very comfortable to be that way.
Yeah.
But being able to walk a different course and expand your network and expand your thinking, you have to put yourself into an uncomfortable environment. And I think the ingredient that forces you to do it is that you always want to learn. The business owners that say to themselves, well, I'm 40 and I know everything, I just need to make it run, they're often the ones that struggle, to build real value, right? But the ones that never know anything and are always wanting to learn, they'll put themselves in those situations because that's how they learn, yeah?
Yeah. No, I just remembered, like, the thing that changed everything for us is, so we were at last year, we said we need to start something to finish football. And Tony Robbins was in Australia.
Yeah, yeah.
We went to the seminar, the 3-day seminar. Started at 8 o'clock, finished at 12 o'clock at night. All day, you get half an hour rest.
Yeah.
It changed my life. Like,
really?
It was the best thing I've ever been in my whole life. Because me and my missus having conversations like, we need to start a business, like we need to set ourselves up for post-football, but we were too scared to do it. Then going to that seminar, everything that we spoke about and put out there that we need to do, that whole seminar was just like, whatever you're doing, just go and do it because you're going to get successful from it.
Yeah, yeah.
And like that was one of the best experiences. Like me and my missus were like crying because it's so emotional, the stuff that you do. Like there's thousands of people in there.
Amazing, isn't it?
And like we were crying at one point, we were that happy, laughing, like for the whole 3 days. Like that made me and my beautiful wife a lot closer as well. Like
did it?
She's always followed me for the last 12 years of footy and done whatever I needed because it was the main breadwinner, like in the family.
Yes.
And she kind of told us that like told me in there that she has aspirations and goals that she wants to achieve over the next period of our lives. And, that's why I'm so excited for post football to let her pursue her dreams, and hopefully I can keep doing what I want to do. Then we can both be successful and give our kids everything that we didn't have.
And you've talked about it, right? I think, often couples and people in business and business partners, whether they're your life couples or not, just business partners, often they will work for decades together without sharing those things.
Yeah.
Because it's, I don't know, maybe it's uncomfortable to go through the emotion of sharing them. Maybe each party's different, differently wired, and they don't want to feel like they might embarrass the other party or, put the other party out. But being able to share that at this sort of threshold period as you enter that next journey into business, I think it's got to be an ingredient for success, bro.
I hope so.
Yeah. But I want to go back to the jam tart, right? Like, how did you feel when your nan sort of said,
"Look, I don't care, man. Like I loved them jam tarts, and she knew that I loved them. I was her favourite, and that's just the way it worked. No one else was allowed to touch it until I was done."
It's a beautiful story,
right? Yeah.
Because nans are, they're lovely.
And the worst thing, like, she's about this tall.
Really?
Like, from the floor.
Yeah.
All our kids, I'm 6 foot. Like, all my family's massive.
Massive.
They would never ever do anything to disrespect her because she had that much power, like, within the family. And
that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey,
it was really cool.
What did you learn from her?
She worked her whole life. She always put food on the table, like, even if they didn't have money. So she grew up on a mission. If you know what that is.
No.
So it's like in the country, say if there's a little town, all the whites would seclude the Aboriginals from the town and put them out in a mission just outside of town, and that's where they had to live, and put a little shop out there, and they weren't allowed to interact with the Australians at the time. So she grew up there her whole life, and she had 7 mouths that she had to feed, never had much money, but they always had food on the table.
Yeah. I remember we talked about Walgett, because I think I mentioned that back when I was 19, 20, I spent some time at Walgett, and I remember because there was a mission, I'm not sure whether it still exists, but there was a mission on the river at Walgett where all the Indigenous were basically segregated. Yep. And I think I also said to you, in those days, even the pub in the town had a black and white bar.
Crazy,
and a screen between the two. It's hard to... I can remember going in there, right?
Yeah.
Shows my age, I guess, but it's hard to believe, right?
Yeah, it's mayhem.
Yeah.
It's so much better than what it was, like, with all this, so much support behind the Aboriginal people these days, with reconciliation and Sorry Day and the reconciliation action plans and stuff like that. It's happening, so so much better, and I'm really grateful for that for my kids growing up, because even I copped, like, racial comments growing up in Cronulla, and it was mainly a white based community, and my cousin and brothers were the only Indigenous people there. So if we didn't have that Peachey name, I suppose it would have been a bit more difficult. But, we definitely still copped it a bit.
How do you feel like about the Indigenous path and how we're going as a nation in terms of that? Like, do you said it's improved a lot, but what's your perspective on that?
I think it's a lot better than what it was. It can always be better, I suppose. And I think going to New Zealand for the All-Stars opened my eyes, like the Māoris over there. It's really, you guys speak language, they speak language over there, and it's in the national anthem, and I didn't realise that until I went over there, and it's really cool. And like, Fisher Harris is proud Māori.
Yeah.
He loves it over there, and you can see when he gets home, like, his chest is, like, flared out, and he's just around his people. And it's really cool to see language and Indigenous culture taught in schools, or like in TAFE or in uni or whatever. But it would be really cool if it was taught a lot more, and given the opportunity to show how cool cool and how strong the Aboriginal culture was.
Yeah. Do you think that can happen?
Hopefully it's moving that direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
NRL's getting behind it a lot with the Reconciliation Action Plan, and I just started an internship with the RLPA as well. So
Did you?
I've been doing that for the last couple of weeks, and that's only due to being Aboriginal. They needed to
Yeah.
hire an Indigenous ex-NRL player, and just ended up being perfect timing where I'm retiring and put my hand up.
What do you reckon the Indigenous culture gives you in terms of football, but also in business?
I don't know. Like, I suppose you need to, like, starting a business, like, you still need to put in the work, and it doesn't really matter what culture you are or what kind of business it is. But for me, there's, with this Reconciliation Action Plan, it gives you an opportunity to start a business and, give yourself the best chance to be successful, because, like I said, no matter what, you could be promised this, but if you're not doing the work to be successful,
you're not going to get there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you think about your goals in business and you look ahead, what's the most frightening thing about it for you? What are the biggest challenges?
Really failing, not putting food on the table for the family, and I've always been able to do that with football. Been very fortunate to be paid a lot of money to do something I love, and that's something I'm trying to build. I've started animal care. It's really close to my heart. It's something I started, and my missus said, like, what if someone were to offer you 20 million for it? Would you do it? And I probably wouldn't do it. Like,
really?
It means that much to me. There's probably a number out there that I would take. Like, like, for now, I want to build it up and make it so successful, and hopefully be number one transport business in Australia.
Yeah, I mean, I love that goal, and just knowing, how sort of motivated you are. You're quietly spoken, but you seem very, very motivated.
Definitely.
And look, we value businesses, and one day I'd love to value it. When it's towards reaching that goal, because, and I think what we find is clients today, business owners, used to be you value a business if you wanting to sell it, or you're breaking up a partnership, or you're bringing in a shareholder or something else, or you're changing the structure. But people today, thinking about their business and all the elements that create value, and they're financial, but they're also non-financial, just like a footy team, there's financial things involved in a footy team, but there's a whole bunch of non-financial things that are equally important. Culture, performance, etc., etc. People are starting to use valuation more as a tool to identify those levers. Right. And so I think, it is about the journey. It's about, as you said, as Ivan said, it's about the process. A lot of people in business, they get into business, and particularly in the first 5 years, they're looking for silver bullets. Answers to questions that are hard to get them from A to B. And invariably, from my experience, 1 in 10 of those answers might be a silver bullet, but it's hard to find silver bullets. Mostly it's process, right? And it's iterative and it's slow, but small improvements, 1%ers, 2%ers, 5%ers. And while you're in it early days, sometimes it's frustrating, right? Because you think, am I going to get there? I seem to be banging my head against the wall. I can't crack this market or this contract. I've tried it 3 times different ways, and each time, bloody competitor beats me on price and margin, right? And you feel like maybe I'm on the wrong track. But suddenly the snowball gets to the point where the snowball rolls by itself. And you don't realise it until the snowball's running ahead of you, right? And I'm just speaking from experience, right? Time in the market and process and resilience and being adaptable but focused on your goal. All sorts of things that you now do rolling off a log because of your professional footy career are so important in business.
Yeah.
From my perspective.
I reckon that too. That's why I said I don't know why there's not more multi-millionaires that have been NRL players or professional athletes, because one of my inspirations for starting a business was McDougall as well, like selling his company for 600 million. Like,
it's amazing, isn't it?
I don't know what the number is, but whatever the number is, I'm hoping no number is $1 more than that.
Oh, I look forward to valuing it when it's up in those heights, man. Yeah. I mean, do you have a view about priorities now? Like, you know, business is important. Clearly, you mentioned family is important because you want to put food on the table and look after your family. Soon to be 4 little ones. Yeah. Yep. So 3 with another one on the way.
Yep.
Health and fitness. I mean, you've spent a career, big time health and fitness. Is that important to you moving forward?
Yeah, in a way. I've been like a professional athlete for 11, 12 years or something like that. So I know I'll need to do something because my head will just go crazy if I don't train or don't do anything. So, and I'll blow out like that if I stop training. Like I'll get fat. So I need to stay on top of that. That's something that will definitely be a focus when I finish.
Yeah.
To keep fit, stay on top of that stuff, eat healthy, because I don't want my kids to, I don't know, have that struggle. I want to give them the best opportunity they can to succeed in life. So giving them a healthy diet and keeping them fit and active in sports, it's only going to be beneficial for them. Yeah,
I like that. What do you do to relax?
Do this podcast and I play a bit of golf, and I'll try and get a lot better at golf when I retire. Hopefully dedicate one day to golf a week if the missus lets me, and try and stay active. I've got kids sport now that I'll be flat out with, and I'm hoping to be head coach of all their sporting events. So
if you were looking down on you as a coach, giving a critique as to what you like as a coach, tell me what you like.
I'd try and steal like the Ivan Cleary kind of approach. Like,
tell me about
kind
that.
of quiet spoken like myself, and won't give you too much. And if you have a good game and you go and have a meeting with him and go through the clips, you kind of walk out questioning yourself. And if you have a bad game, he'll make you feel better than you are. So he's adaptable, and he's a really good coach. He's successful for a reason, and I think he speaks about how he didn't kind of set his goals as well. As high as what he wished he did, and then that's why I suppose Nathan's so successful, because he's guiding him and giving him advice that he didn't have when he was making it in footy. And I'm hoping that if Tex or my little fella play footy, then I can give them the advice that I didn't have, and they can go out and be the best player they possibly can.
I love that. Like hearing how you've described Ivan, like it's almost like he downplayed your extremes of success, but he lifted you up when you're a bit down in the mouth about how you'd performed. Yeah.
Extremely humble, but hardworking.
Yeah. I mean, important for how you bring the young fellas up, but also and coach them, but also in that business that you're building, Nanamacare, very important attributes for how you're developing your team. And developing the culture within your team.
Yeah.
I would have thought. So, I mean, to be exposed to that sort of expertise as a coach and a people manager, there's some great opportunities there to leverage that right into your business, I would have thought.
Definitely.
Yeah. Do you ever get hot under the collar? Do you ever lose your shit?
No, I hold it in, and then explode. Like, I don't know, I'm a bloke, that kind of thing. Like, that's what me and the missus, probably biggest issue is I hold everything in, and all she wants is me to talk, and that's what we probably learned from that Tony Robbins experience.
Yeah.
Being able to express myself a bit more and to her what's actually happening.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's good, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
At times.
Oh, look, it's hard, right? Because I think when you're in business, just like when you're in professional sport, not that they're all parallels, but apart from being bloody good at what you do, or developing and improving and constantly striving to improve yourself, you're also passionate as well. And one can be pretty hard on it oneself, right? And it's how you channel those energies so that you don't cruel yourself and cruel people around you, so that they're positive energies, or if they're not positive, they're at least let out in a way that's conducive to, progressing things, I guess. And it's not easy. It's not easy, right? I don't think anyone has all the answers to that, right?
No.
Eh?
It's you're always pursuing this. It's unattainable, I think.
Yeah.
I said to my missus, like, there's going to be a problem no matter what happens, and we just got to adapt and solve it.
Yeah, but recognise that it's a journey. It's not, it's not the destination. It needs to be solved, but there are paths forward, right? Yeah. If you had to describe in one word the 4 clubs you've played at, right? So Penrith, Sharkies, Tigers, and
Sharkies were building,
yeah.
so they won the comp the year after I left.
Yeah.
Penrith was the uprising, like they got rid of all the old boys and then had a young crew come through and Bryce Cartwright and all that, and then I went to Goldie and we were just chilling up there, like.
Really?
Yeah, we got the wooden spoon 2 years in a row, and then the last year we made the finals. So I was a bit upset that we've parted ways, but then come to Tigers, and that was kind of like it was a difficult point in my life. Like,
was it?
I was probably going to retire, I think, after that year, and I don't know what kind of word I'd put in because I didn't enjoy myself there.
You didn't enjoy yourself. Oh.
Then come back to Penrith was the best ever. I don't know what word I'd put there. And then this year's been content. I'm happy with what I've done in footy, and I'm ready to start this business.
I mean that's a career and a half, eh?
Yeah.
But my sense is there's not. I mean, you mentioned one, and I think we talked previously about this. One regret in a sense of not putting your bar high enough.
Yeah.
But as you look back on that 10 plus years of professional footy, many regrets?
I know I don't regret it because I've learnt something from everything that I've done, and I only ever knew what I knew. And what I mean by that is, like, coming into first grade, like, all I ever wanted to do was play one game. Like, I did that, and then I'd adapt and move on. So I only ever knew what I knew. Like, at the Gold Coast was difficult, and the players that were around me were only learning the game as well. So I should have been a better teacher up there, I suppose, and help guide those guys. And I think I did that the last year I was there. And then going to the Tigers was like, I was kind of, I don't want to rebuild again. Like, I just, I've already done that at Goldie, and went to Penrith, and I was just learning. Like, I just had to learn that system and put myself in the best position to try and be in that 18 at the end of the year, and I did that. So
you did do that.
I was really happy with what I put myself through, because that was the hardest preseason I've ever done my whole life. And Ivan, that would tell you that, and Wally and Peter Wallace, his coach up there, and they'd all seen how hard I worked to put myself in that position. And I was really satisfied with that.
I can see you're proud of it, and you should be, because if you just working through that continuum, right? Like the learnings, but it's almost like you built yourself to a crescendo, and it'd be hard to paint it any better way, in a way. Like, so, you know, and I think if I take you forward 10 years, I'll be delighted sitting on this couch talking about your business and how you've learnt and been through various stages of developing Nanima Care and the transport business to what it's going to be, because there'll be similar challenges, right? Definitely. Backwards, forwards, you know, building up, you know, high performance, ticking back, you know, a few dark spots, but focus on your goals and be resilient and adaptable and be a competitive little shit, and you're probably going to do all right. Hopefully. Tyrone Peach.
Hopefully.
Hey, bro, thank you for having us.
Thanks, legend. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
Thanks, brother.